like to hear your gentle voice again. Soft to my ear, your whispered prayers then. A kiss just before bed, and I could rest my head. Oh, how simple it was then. We had water and bread. Oh, how happy we were then when to part you had. I walked with you, I did, with my hands behind my back, just like you did, like you did. Like you did.
It helped me reflect a lot, like listening to, I would like go to the backyard and we had a swing set and I would just sit in the swing set and listen to music for like hours at night. And so like just being in that would help me reflect or process things. It made me really happy to just do that. And or like I'd go on the roof and listen to music and just ponder. So yeah, it's just, I guess it gave me time to like be still and enjoy being alone. But I love people, I love being around people too. Yeah, and then of course like it does help you process the painful things and gives you a way of saying them when I don't know, when it's overwhelming to say it in just words, like it helps have the music coming alongside you. Or sometimes even like you don't need lyrics necessarily, but like the music itself is like bringing you through it. My parents were musical. Like my mom was also, like she played piano and then she got my sister into piano as well. Like my sister took lessons, but I didn't. And my dad was a musician, so I guess having music around me got me into it. My siblings were also, like my brother, one of my brothers, well, both of my brothers, they're all musical too. Like he's a dancer, my brother was a singer, and like there was a lot of music around. So that helped. I was interested in guitar first. I think I started that when I was really young when I wanted to start playing, like maybe like 11 or 12, but then like didn't do anything. Like my dad like gave me one lesson and then I was like, all right, my fingers hurt. So I didn't keep going, but then I don't know, I got to 13 and then I started taking lessons. And then eventually started like teaching myself the piano. Maybe when I was like 15, or maybe 14, I don't know when I started playing piano. But actually maybe it was 15. And then eventually, whenever I got over being afraid of singing in front of people, 16 was when I started doing that, and then like playing more. What was the rest of the question?
Yeah, what got you inspired to just start going out there?
Yeah, it took a minute to want to like do it in front of people, right? Because I was for some reason really scared of it. Until my sister like made me sing for her because I had learned this song and she was like, just do it, and then I did, and then showed my brother and then my mom, and all on the same day. So like, and that was super encouraging because they all had really positive feedback and like were really surprised, or like my brother had warned my mom, like she's kind of earthy, or like the tone he used the word earthy. And she was like in tears, so I was like, this is great. I was like, I guess this sounds okay. I guess I'll keep doing this. So, yeah, it was great. And like my dad was super supportive too of acting and singing.
And what was it like growing up with a musical family? What were some of your early childhood musical influences?
My dad listened to the Beatles. Well, both of my parents were super into the Beatles, so that was always around. She actually went to a Beatles concert when she was younger.
Whoa.
Yeah, pretty sick. It was like $5, which was a lot. Tom Waits or And his music, or like the way that he kind of dresses or embellishes his music, or like with the percussive instruments, I really like. So like I try to incorporate that into my music because it doesn't all sound like that, or the acoustic stuff. But yeah, he's been in influence for sure.
As a child, what were some of the emotional, I would say, roller coasters that you experienced where music has helped, kind of navigate you through that?
I don't know if I used music as much as a child. Like I listened to it, but I don't know if it was a part of like processing for me. My childhood was really, I had great parents, so like I was able to like come to them with stuff, which is why I have this song about my father, because he was a great guy. And my mom too, she was amazing, or is amazing. But yeah, I guess it came more into play as a teenager, and like like my first relationship, it definitely came to play there, like with the aggression, or like the relationship was really good the first year, and then the second year it was really hard. Some really tough stuff happened, and I got really mad and put it into music. And he knew me whenever my dad was really sick, and so he helped me with that a lot too, with processing that, and just because it was terrible. Like he was probably one of the only people that I know that really saw my dad when it was bad, because I didn't have people over, really. Because my dad was like also, he was like losing his mind. His motor skills weren't good and he couldn't really walk that well. But he saw like some of like he would hallucinate all the time, my dad. So my boyfriend at the time would see those things and like kind of help me cope with it. And also my grandmother was sick at the same time, and my mom had a lot on her plate.
Like you did. Like you did. Just like you did. I like to be snuggled up for. Those days were so free. Could I just have one more? Freer than equal. Laughter filled the room. Oh, how simple it was then. We had water and bread. Oh, how happy we were then. Went to the park you had. I walked with you, I did, with my hands behind my back, just like you did. Like you did. Like you did. Just like you did. Thank you.
Yeah, so I feel like he was losing his mind, and I felt like my dad was losing his mind, with always hallucinating, never knowing where he was, and so I just felt like these two people that I cared about so much were both like deteriorating in front of me, and so that made it harder to go through the stuff with my dad because I didn't have him to lean on anymore, and I confided in him the most with that. I don't think I I don't think I told very many people about my dad when it was happening, when it was at its worst.
So your dad and your grandmother were going through the same
They were
illness?
both ill. Like my grandmother she was fine mentally, but she was bedridden. And she like was completely dependent on my mom to be fed or bathed or changed. Yeah, and then my dad was kind of mobile, but then it got progressively worse, and then he was like very immobile, and then we would just have to like move him from seat to bed and feed him because he couldn't feed himself either.
How did you cope with that?
See, my mom was very like, she was always like pointing to God and like, I can only do this because of His grace, and like He's giving me the strength to do this, and like her faith was, I felt like I made that, like I didn't really seek community in that, but I did seek God through it all. And now I see like how beautiful community is, and I'm so glad I have it now. But like at that time I wasn't embracing that, and I was just like, it's my mom and it's God and it's me. And like the rest of my family too was involved, but my mom and I were the ones living there, so it was just like her and me every day. So yeah, having her, I mean, we helped each other get through it. Really. And then I would, you know, humor is always helpful, so I always just try to be super silly and make her laugh.
And how does love evolve for you? Because when you first started with him, it was more like marriage material. You know, like the whole world of, you know, the music family.
Right.
You know. How has that evolved over time, you know, from after going through heartbreak and disappointments and fear and anxiety? How does that shape it?
When we ended it, or when it ended, it was like nice, like I was completely crushed because there was all these things that happened, but it felt nice to know, or like I felt like it was very sincere feeling of, I really do want you to be happy, and like even if that's not going to be with me, like I do want that for you. I still think he's a good guy, and it was just, yeah, people mess up. I mean, I guess kind of figure out like how you should or want to be treated. And now I'm thinking of another relationship, but like feeling that strongly for someone or with someone and feeling that connected, and I guess, and maybe it doesn't work out or it didn't work out with this other person I'm thinking of, but it keeps me from like falling into something else that isn't going to be as strong. And what I had felt last was so strong, but I don't want to limit it to even that, or like I don't need to settle for this because I know what I have felt, and it can be that or more. I'm having faith for something even more fulfilling than that was.
Yeah.
But I am grateful to know what that felt like, so I don't fall prey to like something less.
Wish I had a mango tree in my backyard. You standing next to me, take the picture from the zips on your say, can I have you caught up in what you said you do, said you do, said you do, and said you do. Through my eyes I can see every shooting star. We've been sweating across the sea, somewhere from Mars. Out on the street we run, scratch our names in the park, young and feeling in the sun. I said you do, I said you do. I said you do. La, 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 wish I had a mango tree in my backyard. With you standing next to me, take that picture from the zip cycle you say. Can't let happen. Hurry up and what you say. I said you do. I said you do. I said you do. I said you do. I said you do.
Why take the risk of that kind of intense feeling when you know there's the duality piece, the other side to like deep pain or wounding from that? Like, what is your philosophy or a spiritual practice to accept that duality?
I feel like I think we all learn the most through pain. I think, like, so, like, I won't be fearful of loving someone as best I can, because, like that in itself is beautiful, just pouring into someone.
Yeah.
And then if it were to fall apart, there is still so much to gain from that too. And like, if it hurts, then you know it mattered. And I think that's important too. It's like, this pain isn't for nothing.
Yeah.
That's also like whatever helps. Like, whenever I'm mourning my father, it's like, well, it's because he mattered. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah. Wow, that's really profound. I mean, simple and profound at the same time. Okay, could we talk a little bit more about the influences of the last 5 years after you went through your breakup? What other significant moments happened that shaped your music, your philosophy, your spiritual path?
Whenever my dad was really sick, we weren't going to church just because we were just taking care of him, and my mom and me. But she was still like listening to sermons from different pastors. But I was still like, God is it. You know?
Yeah.
Like, I was still like, I need you.
Yeah.
And then like seeing him provide through my father's passing of like, and he always like uses people to make these things happen. Like, every like milestone, whatever, has been because of somebody that he's put in my life, even if it's just for that. So like, I had booked this commercial, and they weren't even auditioning like girls that day. It was like, but they told me to come in anyway, and I booked it. And so I was like, and it was a national commercial, and it was SAG. So I was like, great, I'm so glad I can take care of like my finances, and while my mom is dealing with everything else. And that commercial was really beautiful too, because it was about a band, and I was fronting the band. We were playing music, and we were road tripping, or we were on tour with my dad in the commercial. So,
Wow.
And there's even a line in that commercial of him being the proudest dad in the world. And that was like so timely and comforting, because at that point my dad really couldn't express anything like that, even though I knew it to be true. But like, hearing that, I don't know, through my work, it was, you feel like it's it's him saying it, you know? And even though he had no idea what he was looking at when we showed him, but so that was cool. We filmed that the month before he died, and it was released the month he died, but before he died. Seeing God provide in that way, of like also giving me that comfort of like, he's proud of you.
Yeah.
And I'm taking care of you, and like that was beautiful.
After you passed away, like what were some of the, what did you go through? What did your whole family go through? And what was it like to have lost someone so close to you, someone you confided in?
We were relieved because we felt like we'd lost him a long time ago. And at that point he was just like a prisoner in his own body, and yeah, we were praying for either for him to be healed or for him to go home, because it was just such a miserable existence for him. And my mom like felt like a prisoner in her home too, like tending to 2 sick people, and then one, like the next few days it's like I felt like I was just waiting for him to come back home from work or something. And it felt like that for a long time. And my mom too, she'd always felt like he was just gonna, yeah, we both like had this sense of he's gonna be right back or something. I was really grateful for the way he passed away, because we were all, my whole family was like, all the siblings were there, and my nieces and my nephews, and so he was surrounded, and his sister had flown in just in time. So that was great. We were all there. I guess I can only really think of like how I'm processing it now, or like experiences that I've had of like when I flew back home for the first time. I felt like I was gonna see him. I was like, no, you're not. And then like, and very recently I had this feeling of like, wow, I haven't seen my dad in such a long time, and but still feeling like I could. Just missing his stability. And he just, like I said, he gave us firm ground to stand on. And whenever I think about my dad, I think about being a little girl, like a little kid, and just how I just want to be safe in his arms again. And that was whenever I had come out here, and I was having, it was good. I had friends here, and like moving here was really, the transition was really nice, but but yeah, I had that feeling of like, I just want to be with my dad right now. Like I really just want him to hug me right now, because like getting frustrated with other things, and or like other guys that are just bumming me out, or yeah, just dudes being dudes, and I was like, I need a man, I need my dad.
When did you write the song?
Maybe 4 months ago that I wrote this song. So I guess like I still think about him like every day, and I had that melody. Yeah, I thought the music was really lovely, and I was like, I want something lovely to go with it. And I was like, I want to write about my dad.
Yeah.
I want to write about when I was a kid with him, and every night like him giving us a kiss and praying for us. Yeah, just like having those fond memories of him, like in those carefree moments, because he was the kind of guy that kind of did carry a lot of weight to provide for his family. But yeah, that's why I wanted to write that song about that, because like I said, I feel like I was always imagining myself little when I would think of me with him. And maybe that's because I was like, because he started going downhill whenever I think I was 15 when it started getting worse. And then it was,
When was he diagnosed?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But you noticed it.
Yeah.
15.
Yeah. And I don't know if he was diagnosed then or not. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's, and then it turned into Lewy body dementia. I do remember feeling now, like being older, or even when he did pass away, I remember feeling like there were so many conversations I didn't get to have with him because he had declined like early on, and now I was like, I don't know, there's so much I haven't gotten to talk to him about, and so that was frustrating or sad whenever he passed away.
The song is, it took 4 years, 5 years before you started writing it after he passed?
Yeah, this song, yeah, because it's so recent. I wrote it in a couple days. Why
4 years later? Why not earlier?
I had like written some other things like that were closer to his passing, but it did just feel like it was more to process and not for anyone to hear. But this, I wanted people to hear it. I was glad to have captured that moment. So I guess it was just coming to a point of like, yeah, I want to share this with people now.
Those days were so free. Could I just have one more? Free of any groove. After fill the room. How simple it was then. We had once loved. With my hands behind my back, just like you do. Like you do. Like you do. Just like you do.